Honourable Member Nikki Wagner.
Te lava, Mr Speaker.
Mai oi.
I rise to support this exclusive economic zone and continental shelf environment effects bill. And I'm delighted to support this bill. It has been long awaited. I think we've been discussing this for probably near on 20 years. This bill is particularly significant because once it passes, there will, for the very first time, be a framework for environmental protection in our EEZ. Now, as it's been mentioned tonight already, the size of our EEZ in the marine environment is enormous. It's about 20 times the land mass of New Zealand, and our EEZ is the 5th largest in the world. I say our EEZ because under the United Nations Conventions on the Law of the Sea, we have sovereign rights over this land, this area and the continental shelf. And because of that sovereign rights under the Convention, that provides us with the opportunity to access the natural resources in this area. But it also makes the requirement for responsibility and obligation to conserve and preserve the natural environment. And this bill does just that. And it's been very interesting to hear the discussion from the opposition of the House, who are convinced that it does not meet our international obligations. However, we have had strong advice from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who I note actually negotiated this convention. They spent months and months, for years, negotiating this convention, and they believe that this bill meets our obligations. But let me make this clear. This is only one bill. There are 14 other acts that cover this area. This bill covers activities such as seabed mining, energy generation, carbon capture and storage, and marine farming, and also some aspects of petroleum exploration and extraction. But right now, the most common use of the EEZ is in terms of shipping and fishing, and other acts cover that. For example, the Marine Transport Act of 1994, which regulates shipping, also regulates marine pollution, oil spill planning and response, and also dredging and the dumping of wastes. And in terms of fishing, the Fisheries Act 1996 manages both the fisheries and fishing activities. Other acts, such as the Crown Minerals Act 1991 and the Continental Shelf Act 1964, will continue to operate, and they will be involved in the resource allocation regimes for petroleum and minerals. There are also two other environmental acts, the Marine Mammals Protection Act and the Wildlife Act. But what this bill does, this long-awaited bill, is that it provides an environmental management framework similar to the RMA to assess, to manage and to control activities in the EEZ. Now, there was an enormous amount of interest in this bill, that's no surprise. We had 125 submissions and we heard 37. And I have to say that every single submitter supported the bill and was pleased to see that it had come to Select Committee. There was, of course, a variety of comments and shades of opinion about the detail of the bill, but every submitter was pleased to see that we had a bill that dealt with the environmental effects in the EEZ. Now, there were an enormous number of important issues raised by submitters, and we worked our way through those submissions, and numerous changes were agreed to by the whole committee, and they have been made to the bill. However, there were some differences of opinion that we couldn't reconcile, and that will make for great debate during the committee stages. I'd like to thank everybody who was on the Select Committee, because regardless of our difference of opinions, we were all very aware of the importance of the bill and worked hard to get the best possible outcomes. I'd also like to thank the officials from the Ministry of the Environment and from the Environmental Protection Authority. They worked very hard, they were well informed, and they did good work for us. and also the drafter of the bill. It was a complex bill. It did require a lot of rethinking, and we appreciate the work that they did. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. It is time that we had legislation that provided that environmental framework that we need for our EEZ, and this bill will do the job. Thank you.
I call the Honourable Member Moana.